Welcome back to the show. That was a phenomenal discussion with our previous guest about enticing people through getting them to ride a bike. So I'm definitely looking at it in a different direction. But talking about different directions, we speak about narrative and how important narrative is to be able to get us thinking about the types of situations we face and how we can deal with them. And one of them is an anthology which was written. It's called Motherhood Honesty. And now, one of our very own colleagues, Sister Maryam Mkwanda, wrote a piece called Surviving Toddlerism. And we're going to be speaking to her about her contribution towards that. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. An absolute pleasure having you on my show today.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Nafeesa. Shukran for having me.
It's only an honor and a pleasure. How are you doing today?
Alhamdulillah, all good. The weather is nice and warm today, unlike the past 2 days. But
Yes.
yeah, Alhamdulillah. And yourself?
Shukran, alhamdulillah. I'm actually excited and looking forward to having this chat with you. Let's talk about motherhood honesty firstly. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you have a 2-year-old daughter. And we want to know a little bit more about the Maryam Mkwanda we always hear on air.
All right. She's actually 3, turning 4
Okay.
in May. And yeah, she's a handful, but an independent handful. So I'm grateful for that, Alhamdulillah. And the Maryam Mkwanda that you don't see on air is a mother. She's a wife. She's a daughter. She's a sister. She wears many hats. She's a creative. She is a friend. She's everything that she sets her mind to. She's everything that she wants to be. And there's just no limitations to who she can be and who she can become. And I'm glad to see on screen it says presenter turned author, because I had no idea that I would become an author very soon. This was a project which started last year, and this year it has officially been launched on Tuesday. And wow, I'm an author.
Wow, that's phenomenal. Congratulations from the entire team. We're really proud of you for your efforts and for, should we say, the bravery, because not everybody wants to pick up that pen and start penning out their journeys. But talk to us about your piece and what edged you on to actually write something and contribute towards this anthology.
Okay, I was approached by Victorine Bongshu, who is no stranger to Salam Media.
Mm.
She approached me telling me that she has this brilliant idea of getting women together to write their journeys through motherhood. And I thought, okay, let me try my luck and see what happens. So we either had to write a poem, a short story, or an article. Now, when I saw the number of words required for a short story, I was like, no, I don't think I can manage a short story. And I'm quite good at articles, so let me write an article about surviving toddlerism. And the title of it just came because I'm like, okay, I have a toddler. She's 2, turning 3 last year, yeah. And why not write about her? I mean, who else am I going to write about? She's my only child at the moment. And the topic surviving toddlerism came about. I spoke about the terrible twos, as they call it, and some call it
Yes.
the terrific twos. I spoke about her being 3 and the tantrums that we have to go through as parents. And, sometimes you think that you'll never survive the stage. But when I hear people say that, enjoy this stage as much as you can, because as they get older, it becomes even worse. So I'm really trying to survive toddlerism. So
I'm laughing
I
because
hope you
I'm
get
way
to read
past
it.
that stage. I'm laughing because I'm way past that stage. Mine's 25. But trust me, I do come into
Wow.
contact with nieces that are that age, and I so relate and resonate with what you're going through, because I'm glad that you wrote this piece, because it kind of gives moms, should we say, a little bit of a support structure to make them understand that they're not alone in this, that there are other mothers that are going through similar issues. But you also penned out about how you can kind of deal with it in some way, by identifying that each toddler
Mm-hmm.
has their own character, which I found very interesting. It's nice to see that you've acknowledged that, because I think many a times we're always comparing our kids to others, but being able to identify the uniqueness in each child and their characteristics is how we can deal with the types of situations that they face and what you encounter through what they're facing.
That is so true. I mean, I'm a mother to one, but I do have nieces and nephews. So everyone's personality is different, and what works for one will not necessarily work for another. And you kind of have to like mold something. You know, you just that's why
Mm.
we say we just take it one day at a time, one step at a time, because it's not a quick fix. And if it works for your friend, it doesn't mean that it's going to work for you, but you're going to try it anyway, and you're going to make dua and hope that it works for you as well. But if it doesn't, then you're going to find another solution. Like, but
Mm.
we don't like to encourage what is this beating as a form of discipline, because
No,
there are other
of
ways to
course not.
discipline kids these days. I mean, the prophet was sent as a mercy to all of mankind, and he loved kids, so beating them is not a great way to instill discipline. And we grew up as kids being beaten up as a form of discipline, and when we look at ourselves, we're like, okay, but I just turned out fine, so I guess I could do the same to my child. But these kids of today, they're not like us.
No,
It's like
uh,
they are
I so agree with you.
superhumans.
It's not going to work because, looking
It's
at
not
them, and
going
I
to work
just said
at
it
all.
the other day, the generation is so different. It is a completely different generation. Their mindsets and their way of thinking is, I think, completely different to the days when we were those ages. So I think it's having to create that
Exactly.
adaptability, which is going to work for the parent, and that's important. It's that adaptability, as I said.
hmm And talking a little bit more about motherhood honesty, these are stories of 27 women. 27 women came out together to share their
Wow.
journeys. There's stories of hope, there's stories of pain, there's stories of heartbreak. There are different stories, and it resonates with every woman, every mother.
Mm.
If you pick up the book and you read it, I'm sure something in there will resonate with you. Like you mentioned, you were in a stage with your nieces and nephews and trying to survive toddlerism as well. It will resonate with you some way or the other. So it is a great piece, and we hope that it becomes a bestseller. And I'm hoping that the team at Salam Media also buys a copy from me, signed, of course, and get to read the
Sure, of
stories there.
course. But I think what's nice about it is it's a book filled with love, joy, passion. It teaches you about loss, pain, sadness, struggles. But the book also shares knowledge about gains and insights learned. And I think that's the essence of the book. The most important thing is where, when I read your piece and I read your struggles and how you overcame it, and the essence of the story itself will then resonate with me to say, well, this is how she's done it. Do I take on the same thing, like you said earlier? Or do I adapt myself and try and understand my toddler and how I can overcome that type of situation that we're facing with a toddler? But it's also not just about the challenges, it's about the joys as well. I mean, when I actually look forward to the times when my nieces come home to visit, because they kind of liven the place up and they get me going. But honestly speaking, by the time they're gone, I don't have much energy left. I'm kind of like, really done with it and dead beat for the day. So I resonate with you and I resonate
Mhm.
with your story. But explain to us, why was it that you wrote this? Was it that you wanted people to understand that irrespective of what you go through with your kids, there's still that bundles of joy that are going to bring different, should we say, essences into your life, and different kinds of lessons also to be learned, and guiding them and teaching them is, I think, it allows us to grow as much as it does them.
hmm Nafisa, one thing that I've learned as a parent and as a parent to a toddler is that first things first, you require a lot of patience, because
True.
they will test you, they will tempt you, they will do anything that they can just to get your attention. And I wrote this piece about my daughter because, like I mentioned, that I don't. She's the only child at the moment, and I wanted to share my story about how I'm trying to survive toddlerism. And kids are an amana to us. They were given to us
Mm.
as a gift, and gifts get taken away, and in an instant she's here, and tomorrow she can be gone. So I have to do my utmost best to try and mold her into the adult that she is meant to be. I can't make her the person whom I think she's supposed to be, but whom she's supposed to be on her own. And it's my duty as her parent to just direct her and push her in the right direction with the help of family, friends, her father, and also with making lots of du'as and hope that she turns out fine.
A very important point that you brought up there is molding. I love that you bring that subject up because many a times we as parents are guilty of the fact that we would like our kids to be in a certain way, a certain characteristic, or probably maybe a protege of ourselves, but not realizing, and as we say, each one is unique in
Mhm.
their own way. So it's having as a parent to be able to tap into their should we say, their weaknesses and their strengths, and working on that and creating a holistic individual that will turn out to be somebody phenomenal in their own right, in their own way. And that's what we need to look at. When we were young, our parents used to say, "Oh, when you grow up, we want you to be a doctor, and we want you to do this, and we want you to do that." And I think from the learning from the yesteryears, we as parents now in the new generation have learned that we can take the yesteryear's morals, bring it into this generation, but also give them that chance to be able to be themselves by molding them into the individuals that they really are and the characteristics that they have.
True, and she is such an independent person for her age. Just the other day she was making noodles for herself. She learned how to make noodles, and
Wow.
when she's hungry, I can tell her, okay, go and make yourself a sandwich, and she will do that. That's how independent she is. Now, if I was the person who was just holding on to her independence and just doing everything for her, I
Mm.
would not have discovered that she can actually do that, and she's quite safe and gentle. And she came to me the other day. She's like, I made noodles, and see, I didn't burn myself. I'm like, okay, mashallah, please don't do that again without adult supervision. So from that, I've learned that she's an independent person. She's a strong individual. She knows what she wants. When she puts her mind to something, she will do it. She will definitely do it. She's not going to wait for you, and she always wants to try before you tell her no or anything. She always wants to try, and I let her try. I'm like, okay, what's the worst that could happen? Okay, you can get hurt, you can get burnt or so, but we'll pass that. At least you will learn something along the way. If you get burnt, you'll know, okay, don't touch this. If you get cut, you'll know, okay, don't play with sharp knives, etc. But as a parent, you guide, you mold them, but you must always be there with them every step of the way.
Mm. So it's also being that support structure and that spinal cord, but also being able to let
Mhm,
go to some extent. So it's having to create that balance. That's what we need. That's what we're talking about, is creating this balance in this toddlerism. Because what we inculcate now is what type of adults and young adults they're going to turn into at some stage, because these are the norms that we're teaching them, the norms, the morals, the values is going to be stuck with them for the rest of their lives. And it's nice to see that you've written this piece because as you say, you've started, it's not good to compare child to child, because what happens is, and I've seen this in many instances, sometimes you walk into a store and a child is throwing a tantrum and the poor mom doesn't know what to do, but others stand there looking around like trying to say, why didn't she do something about it? Why didn't she put an end to this? But I think we need to sometimes realize that kids actually have their own ways of bringing out their frustrations and the way they see things. So I think communication, and I think you'd agree with me through your story, is key, because this is what we're trying to teach parents as well, and young moms, to say that if you can learn to communicate with your toddler, you're going to end up having a phenomenal relationship, because that's where you're going to get that
mhm,
understanding and that tolerance, and you're going to get that ideology of how to guide them going forward with the types of things that they're facing. Like I said, a tantrum is one of it. And by sitting them down and making them understand that that's not how you get what you want, but rather do it this way, or maybe tackle it by talking to mom about what you're facing, is making you or yourself grow as well as your toddler.
hmm And when it comes to things like tantrums, I believe you should just let the child be. Perhaps they are going through something, they're experiencing something. So just let them have it. Let them cry. I mean, yes, they're gonna. You're gonna have all eyes on you, and people are gonna be like, "Why don't you just shut your child up?" And honestly speaking, I was one of those people. I'd look at people. I'm like, "Your child, your child." Until I had my own child, I'm like, okay, yeah, you just worry about your own child and don't worry about what other people are thinking at the moment, because every situation is different and nobody knows what you are going through in that situation. It is very challenging. As mothers, we
Sure.
experience burnout because of so many things that we still have to do, and all of these hats that we wear, and we forget about ourselves in the process. So when a child's throwing a tantrum, just let them be, let them recover, and thereafter that you can talk to them about it, like, okay, how were you feeling? Why did you do this, or why did you do that, and how did it make you feel, etc. And I know that that's not how we were raised, and because things are changing, we have to follow the times as well and raise our children differently, and do things differently, because we're trying to raise strong individuals. We're trying to raise empowered individuals already.
Mm.
We already know how difficult the situations is at the moment, with girls being behind. So we do our best as we can with the little resources that we have.
I so agree with you. I really think what you spoke about was such an important topic. Yet people will look at it and say, why did she write about surviving toddlerism? Yet we don't understand the importance of that because, they're growing individuals. And starting off from that point of view is very important because when they reach that teenage level, there's certain things that have been inculcated already, which is very difficult to change. So we're creating that holistic individual by creating the understanding of that particular toddler, that little child with those characteristics and bringing out the best in them. And that's what you've done. I want to commend you for writing this piece. It's got me thinking in many directions about the particular aspects, very lightheartedly written in the sense that I was laughing about the tantrums and thinking about the times that I went through it with my nieces and things like that. But it makes you reflect and say, how can we change our mindsets to be able to change theirs and help them and understand them? Because we have to change our mindsets. Because, as I said, it's a totally different generation. Their way of thinking is completely different.
It is different. I mean, my daughter also learned a few words. These big words these days they learn, and she asked me, "Are you upset?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Where did you learn that from?" I'm like, "Okay, but no, I'm not upset. Upset means ABC." And we can have that conversation about our emotions as well. We have an emotional connection, besides just talking about what you want to eat and what you want to become when you grow up. And we can have an emotional connection. Like, tell me how you're feeling. How did that make you feel when you were crying? When she had, we I have a niece who also comes to who also gets looked after by my mom during the week. So the two of them together, they're always loggerheading, they're always fighting, and they always at each other. But that sisterly love is always there. And she's the oldest, so she always looks after her younger sister. So when they do fight, it's like, okay, now you need to come together. You need to learn how to say sorry, apologize to one another, and create that bond, that love between the two of you. And with toddlers, it's crazy. It's a madhouse. It's always a madhouse, and I don't expect anyone to have a clean house for that matter. So, if you have a toddler, it's okay if your house is not well put together, if toys are lying around, if you haven't prepared the meal, if you haven't had a shower. You know what? It's okay, and I understand where you're coming from because I was there. And don't let anybody tell you that you should be perfect and put together.
That is so true. I so agree with you. Miriam, what would you like to leave us with? We seem to be running out of time, but I must say, this anthology with the 27 women from three continents is definitely an anthology that people should actually go and read because it teaches you a lot about motherhood and the types of challenges you face, and of course the trials, the joys, everything that goes with it. I think it's a topic that always goes unnoticed, and mothers' values get forgotten at some point in time. So I think it teaches us a lot. So I'm enticing our viewers to get a hold of that copies. Where can they get it from?
You can get your copies from me. My contact details are 0788 You can order your copies from me. Or if you need further information, I can get you in touch with Victorine. I don't remember her number right now, but if you send me a message on the number that I've given, then I will assist you. Please buy the book, support us. It's a very, very beautiful book, very great stories written in there, written with passion, written with heart. You will love it. You will laugh, you will cry, you will be joyful. All your emotions will definitely come into play. So please make sure that you get your copy.
Well, congratulations. Wishing you all the successes with being a part of this anthology. And we really, once again, as a team, are proud of you. All the best and going forward with this anthology. And I look forward to chatting to you soon. But it was so nice having you as a host on the other side, as a colleague as well. We're always working together, but it was really nice having you on the other side, being able to find the true essence in Maryam Mkwanda. Thank you so much for joining me on the show today, and wishing you all the best, all the love. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Shukran, Nafisa, and to the Salam Media team. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you so much. That was Maryam Mkwanda, definitely an inspiration with her anthology, her piece that she contributed towards that anthology. So go ahead and get your hands on that. For me, before I go, there was something that I read by Jalaluddin Rumi, and it says, "Listen with ears of tolerance, see through the eyes of compassion, speak with the language of love." And there's nothing better than the language of love, because the language of love reaches out, creates Ubuntu, grows people, and does many a different things to be able to create that positivity, should we say, positivity that we're looking for. From myself and the team, thank you so much for joining us this Thursday, and we look forward to chatting to you real soon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.